I think one of the most important things that you can do as a life insurance agent is help your clients operate more efficiently with their money. Unfortunately, a lot of people have made bad financial decisions, they've created bad financial habits, and over time, these problems have compounded into maybe leading to a place of feeling hopeless or helpless about ultimately achieving what you want to achieve with your personal finances. And so in this video, I'm going to cover ultimately a concept that I think everybody needs to understand if you ultimately want to be able to dig out of a hole that you're in potentially financially and be able to get to where you want to go. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. That way you're notified every time I launch a new video. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, Cashflow hackers? It's Chris with Life 180. In this video, we're going to be talking about living more efficiently with your money, ultimately. And in order to do so, you have to be thinking about the terms of living in percentages and not dollar amounts. And unfortunately, we all get paid in dollar amounts and we kind of navigate year in, year out. We make decisions around money. And what we're going to talk about in this video is no matter where you are on the spectrum, whether you're in debt, whether you're in decent shape, whether you feel like you got some ground to make up, we're going to help you accomplish, at least set a plan in place to accomplish your goals. And probably by the end of this video, if you stay through this, and you're feeling in a position where you maybe don't have a clear path forward, or maybe you're feeling a little helpless and you're feeling burdened by the debt that you have and maybe the overhead that comes with credit card bills and the car payments and all these things that people kind of have a way of digging themselves into. By the end of this video, I think you're gonna have a process that in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you're gonna be able to work through it and have complete clarity on what you can do through the vision of living in percentages and not dollars on how to dig yourself out of these holes. And in the next 5 years, you can completely turn the trajectory of your life around simply by making these shifts. And so I was inspired to do this based on a training that I did for my team today. And here's the thing. I think every life insurance agent, our major responsibility is to help our clients operate more efficiently. One of the reasons I love whole life insurance is because I believe, foundationally speaking, it's the only product in the world that will get your dollars to perform multiple functions and solve the problems that we need it to solve. It's going to be there for our emergency fund, our opportunity fund, our life insurance for our family, our living benefits as we get older. We can leverage it in all these different ways. And ultimately, I think that's really, really important. And it's an asset that will do for you more things and in different ways than any other asset will do. And I think it's really, really important to take that into consideration. Now, that said, I don't think we should take any risk inside of our life insurance policy. I think we need to take risk outside of our life insurance policy. And that's why I've kind of coined the term cash flow hacking, and it's leveraging life insurance policy, investing it in cash flow assets outside of the policy like businesses or real estate. And that is what it is. So, but for this video, I want to get into the concept of living in percentages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the board here, and on this board, I'm going to just live in percentages. So what does that mean? So let's just take a family. Let's say married couple, 3 kids. I'm just going to take myself basically. 3 kids, I'll say 15 and under, right? Ages. And so we got a married, 3 kids, and let's say household income is about, I'm just going to say 100K, just to keep numbers really, really simple. Okay. And so now let's take a look and think about this. Now, a lot of times people come to us and they have debt issues, right? And so when we look at the debt issues behind this couple would maybe be thinking about like, all right, let's say they're saving for retirement. A lot of times they're not saving for retirement, and that's the reason that they are where they are. Maybe they have. Let's assume that this couple is 40 years old. We'll go from that assumption, and on this assumption on the 100K, let's say they only have $50,000 for retirement, which is kind of inconsequential for this, but I just to kind of build the profile here, and they're only saving like $200 a month. The rest of it is going towards bills and expenses. I mean, think about it, a household like that, typically the mortgage would be like $2,500 to $2,500. I'm gonna go on the high side of that. Car payments, we'll say 2 car payments will be, let's just say $500 a piece, so $1,000 total, right? Maybe student loans, $500. We'll do groceries, utilities, all the things, right? Like when you add all this stuff up, cell phones, all this stuff up, at the end of the day, it's not hard, with $100,000 a year of income, that's $8,300 a month, $8,333 per month. It's not hard to have this column add up to this number, especially when you take, minus taxes out of the equation. It's not hard for, to make this work, right? And so, or to make it so it doesn't work, to make it so your cash flow is upside down. And I think because of the fact that people live in dollars, they make the $8,300 and they're like, hey, I can afford the $2,500 mortgage. I can afford the $500 car payments. I can afford my student loans. I can afford the groceries and the utilities and the cell phone bills and all these things. And little by little by little, it adds up, right? And so that's where people get lost. And so this is a lot of times what happens is people kind of go down this path, and before you know it, they've got this $100,000 and they have no disposable income every single month. And so I'm going to just write this 83. I'm just going to write 8,000 per month just to keep numbers simple. And so what does this look like? If you want to get out of this position, the good news is wherever you are right now, if you have no cash flow and maybe you have debt and you're trying to figure out how to do it, the bottom line is there's something that happens for most people. They get a 2% cost of living increase, cost of living adjustment or whatever in their income. So let's say this family next year, year 1, they have 100,000. Year 2, they're going to have 102,000 just in that increase in this 2%, right? Now and this is assuming that you have not increased your earning capacity. So there's a couple things that you can do. You can increase your earning capacity. Or value, right? So your earning capacity and value, this could be a side hustle. It could be you've learned a skill that increases your value, that gets you paid more money. But I'm assuming that you didn't do this in this situation, that you're just dealing with this cost of living increase, right? Now, there are going to be things that are going on around you, but here's the bottom line. I promise you, you have elements out of this $8,000 in all this, whether it's subscriptions, whether it's utilities, whether it's how you go out to eat, whether it's any of this stuff. Depending on where you are and how you're living your life, there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% inefficiencies in your life that you could find money. And let's face it, if you're not saving any money and you have let's say $90,000 a year after taxes, and you only have 1% inefficiency, that's $900. 2% is $1,800. So you could give yourself extra couple $100 every single month just by operating more efficiently, and that solves a lot of problems. But you can see year 3, you're looking at 104,400, right? Year 4, 106, 800 or so. Year 5, you're looking at 108 and change, or 109, right? So you can see 5 years from now, if you live in percentages and you don't increase your standard of living and you have a debt issue, if you do nothing except for take your increase of $2,000 per year, pay off debt, $4,000 per year, accelerate the debt pay down, $6,800 per year, pay down debt. And now we're at $9,000 per year. So you have the ability, if you don't increase your standard of living, as you get these increases in income, take $2,000, $4,000, $6,000. So let's add these up. 9, 15, 8, $9,800. This is $21,000 effectively with no discipline over the next 5 years that you can use to pay down debt. Now, You're probably going to need to do more than that because of the fact that, like, depending on how your debt is structured and so on and so forth. But this is absolutely something that everybody should be thinking about doing. And, you know, if you add on top of this operating more efficiency and increasing your earning capacity, this is one of those areas that you can really accelerate the success of your whole financial life. But make no mistake about it, if you can make life work right now at your earning of $100,000 and then just have a little hope that moving forward, no matter what happens in your life, moving forward, any increases that you have in your income, any improvements that you have in your financial life, most of the time, unfortunately, what people do is they say, I'm earning, you know, $8,000 a month as a family. So now we have a $400 a month raise or a $200 a month raise. What do? They go out to eat more often. They don't think about all these things. They buy a new car and they get a higher car payment because they can afford it. But the bottom line is, take what you have, live the life that you have, get out of debt, and then before you know it, you're gonna have this $9,000 per year in free and clear cash flow. When you fix all the leaks that you have in your financial bucket, you can take that $9,000 and then you can start to save. Then you can make your life more efficiently moving forward. Now, I'm a big believer in whole life insurance as a foundational asset for people's life. Unfortunately, sometimes people are not ready for whole life insurance. You just have a cash flow issue. Sometimes, that can be kind of worked around. That's one of those areas that I would say you'd have to reach out and have a conversation with somebody on my team. There's a debt consolidation or a debt elimination conversation link that you can set up a clarity call around a debt elimination down below in the description of the video. If that's something that you feel like you're struggling with, I would absolutely suggest reaching out. But most of the time, I would say that people simply have a need. If you are married with 3 kids and you have that desire for insurance and you want to make sure your family is protected, my suggestion is go get a convertible term insurance policy. Make sure your family is protected. Make sure that they're not exposed to the risk if something tragic happens to you, and also lock in your insurability to make sure that if anything from a health perspective happens to you, you can get a whole life insurance policy once your cash flow increases and improves down here, right? That is, I think, the steps that most people miss, and most agents, unfortunately, are out there trying to push things on people when they're not necessarily ready to get them. Let's figure out a way to help our clients operate more efficiently with their money, eliminate debt, think in terms of percentages and not dollar amounts, leverage the increase in percentage of their income as a way to increase their savings, paying down debt, accelerating that pay down, freeing up cash flow every single month. And then once they're at a place that they have that cash flow, then they can roll that in to start focusing on building their foundation of savings and then go from there. So hopefully you found value in that. Hopefully it helps. I know this is a quicker video than most for me, but it really doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. This is something that I think every agent should know how to guide their clients through, and every person can, even if you're feeling hopeless about your future, every person has the ability to execute on these concepts. So if you have any questions, I would really absolutely reach out, take advantage of a free clarity call, have a conversation with somebody on the team. We can guide you through whatever you're feeling right now. That I promise you. So that's it. Till next time, have a blessed, inspirational day. We'll talk soon. See ya.